Hello and welcome everybody back to the Fabul Gauntlet in the Swiss round. My name is Natara and I'm going to be one of your commentators for this evening. My co-host is going to be the lovely Night Dew. Hello.
Hello, Natara. How are you tonight?
I'm just so fabulous, ready to get back into this Fabul Gauntlet, which I've been absent from. We are getting ready to see our lovely racers, Moo Mooney and Norimaki Sr. They have actually been racing for the last 13 minutes, but are on a delay, but they're almost ready for us to see. And it'll be interesting to find out which of the 5 objectives they got for their race and how this goes. I think this is I'm not sure if anyone in this section can actually make it to the bracket stage, but the winner is the only one who would even have a slight chance.
Well, actually, yeah, as I understand it here, how it's going to work is the 5-0 and the 4-1s are going to be guaranteed in bracket stages, and then they are going to take some of the 3-2s, and then the other 3-2s will get play-in races. So both of these runners here, a loss would take them out, but 3 wins will get you into what they need to possibly qualify for brackets. So plenty on the line for both of these runners tonight.
So that puts a lot more pressure. And I've been corrected by chat. It is not Norimaki Sr. It is Norimaki Speedruns. I tried so hard. So yeah, that's going to be definitely interesting. And depending on what these flags and the objectives end up being, yeah, that could really change for these folks. There's a lot on the line here for both of them, so definitely interesting to see. We're starting off with Rosa, so depending on who she's paired with, that could make for a very interesting start.
It is, and I actually do not see that palette very much. The full-on red there going on. Runners likely be looking for some kind of bows here very quickly, see if they can get that offensive Rosa off the ground, unless they get something very offensive like a Sid or something. But we should be starting just about any time now, so we're going to see exactly what we're looking for in just a little bit here.
Oh, we do have the confirmation. This palette is Eris Rosa, so that is pretty fabulous. I love seeing all these new palettes that Scala's introduced. Oh, we are starting.
So what are you hoping our runners run into right now, Natara?
Oh my gosh. I'm looking for a Ped Seed. No, I'm joking. That Golbez. That Golbez right there, and a Luca key. Okay, so I want them to have to dive Luca Cave, as in either a boss they need is down there, or they need that key item because I'm a jerk and hate that place.
Everybody hates Luca Cave there.
That's correct.
That's one of those things. So we're about to see our objectives here in just a moment here. And we'll see just how kind our seed roller was to our runners today.
I was promised something mean, so defeat Demas, Golbez, Antlion, Castle, the Baron Throne. I missed the 4th one. I thought it said Leviathan.
I believe I saw Leviathan as well. Looks like we're going to be doing a little bit of boss hunting, but I always love seeing Golbez required there, especially now we know where he is even. We do have a Riddy and the Baron in, along with some Dark Imps, an easy first fight.
Yeah, an Antlion Nest is a really good objective to have there at the beginning because it is one of the easiest spots, and it is the easiest key item spot to go to. So, definitely a nice one to actually be an objective, kind of a free one. And yeah, Baron Castle Basement, so considering Golbez is right there in Baron, they are going to be looking for that Baron key. There are 2 objectives trapped behind that Baron key.
Absolutely, and so yeah, that Baron key, really important so far. Did see a Rune Axe out of the back grass there. Ninja Star Shuriken. Seed is not wanting for money here. Plenty of items to sell. We do have the required Demas. Love to see that. Maybe Demas will just be hiding in that boss spot in Luca Cave.
Yeah, that would be fabulous. Or, it would even be better if Demist, the key item you get from Demist, wasn't even required. So you have to find Demist, and it's just for an objective. There's not even a key item there. You don't want to get more double duty. That's just way too easy. We
I
don't
know,
like
right?
jet seeds here. And even though the Baron Key is a twofer, that doesn't necessarily mean much because depending on who is sitting on that Baron Castle throne in the basement, it still could be quite difficult even if you get that Baron Key fairly early. Okay, and I saw it was one of the twins in the bed.
If I'm getting better at realizing which twin that is, that did look like a Porom, I believe.
Okay. I cannot tell from that quick a look from just the hair, so all I knew was twin. Okay, so let's see what the loot in Damsian's gonna be like.
They're both kind of taking a little bit of normal loot runs here, not really diverging too much. Oh, we do have Normaki going towards Waterway here. Don't know if they don't want to. Normaki doesn't want to sell that Rune Axe or what Normaki gets out of there, but always worth a check at least.
Yeah, and that crystal shield's a very nice sell. I know you get greater items from the hidden room here, so maybe they're going for that.
Yeah, that will be a thing in the bracket rounds, actually. With T Standard on, everything is weighted the same so far. When T Pro comes out in the bracket flags, that is where slightly more dangerous chests like those, or at least in areas where people normally don't go to, do get elevated a bit.
Yeah, and not only were there double black robes in that room, there was a black robe back in Baron, so if they get any amount of black mages, that could be really good. Right now they're useless, but 3 black robes is pretty fabulous. Ooh, samurai glove.
Got a Sid and a Moon Sparkle here on Hobbs, and it is D-Lunars. Let's see, gonna probably go to that Rune Axe maybe, but honestly with them there, I might be tempted. Oh, 2 Rune Axes, I missed the second one there. Gonna take chances with the virus counter, it looks like. It might be a better idea just to throw some Cure 2s at that. Normaki does get paid off in the back of that cave there, going deep into Waterway there. Did get a big bomb, which will actually take care of the Hobbs boss in short order.
Yeah, and got Dragoon armor as well, which if he does do that, will be great for Sid.
I don't know if Normaki picked up any exit items. It's gonna be a long walk back out of the cave, if not here.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I've never seen anyone go this deep. Yeah, they do. They have one. They have one exit item. So smart. Ooh. Mooney did not survive that D-Lunar. Hopefully had saved right outside. Thankfully did, and is gonna try again.
Yeah, kind of rough there, honestly. I think what I would end up doing right there is, with that starting little care package they do get a reserve of Cure 2s, which, given the undead nature of those dragons, not a bad idea just to throw them at the D-Lunars.
Mm-hmm.
But does actually have access to power and aim, both which will not trip the dragon's virus counter either.
Yeah, anything to stop that virus counter is super helpful.
Question in chat from Fox Brizard, noticing a complete lack of random encounters in this. Yes, that is normal. They are toggleable in the config menu. So if they want to pick up some random encounters for some XP or other reasons, of which there are a few, they are totally free to do so, but by default the encounters are off. And there we go. Mooney going pretty much just going to lay on... Oh, no, here comes the Cure 2s. Young's Power Command was doing work here, but That D-Lunar will not be long for this world here.
No, not at all. Okay, let's see what that boss is here. Ooh, another moon sparkle, which means we don't need it.
Instant reset. I didn't even see which boss it was, honestly.
We didn't. We just know it's a moon sparkle, and none of our objectives require any of the moon sparkle bosses, and that spot doesn't give us a key item. So yeah, I would have reset seeing that as well.
Yeah, I might have wanted to know what I didn't have to take on, but
Meh.
it is what it is.
Yeah, true enough.
Did pull a silence staff off the back of Hobbs there. And Normaki just tripped the virus counter phase, so gonna be a race against time here when those viruses start coming out here. I'd say 332 is enough to take out anybody in the group that isn't Sid at this point. Meanwhile, a tiara, an exit, and a strength ring in Antlion. Treasure chest being a little nice today. And a bandana. Yang is really happy with all the stuff coming down here. Gonna get a lot of value out of these early chests. We've got Sid, we've got Yang. There's at the very least we're gonna have a lot of high hit points to deal with this seed here. 2 tiaras in Antlion. That Rydia in Baron Inn. Gonna be a little happy at that actually.
Yeah, a lot of really nice gear between them. Because that Rydia in the inn can also use that black armor.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be that point where both of these runners might call looting off pretty quickly here after this. They've got a bit of stuff to sell, and honestly may just not need it here in a little bit. And Norimaki is going straight to Fabul. Did use a life potion and a cure in one, and may not recall that going into the Fabul fight, if that is where Norimaki is going, is a free full heal.
Yeah, it's always sad when you forget those spots, because you're like, no, I spent that time curing and I could have just run in. Okay, so we have the Mega Sisters in the Antlion spot, so with this party I don't expect that to be a problem at all, meaning we'll have one objective down for Moo Mooney very shortly.
Yep. Going from one super effective weapon, the Elven Bow, to another super effective weapon, the Silence Staff, Rosa is about to deploy the bonks here.
And we have Dr. Luge and Fabul. So that's definitely not a hard fight for that spot.
No, not a hard fight. A little annoying just because of there's usually a decent amount of early game XP, which doesn't matter so much with the Sid here. Dr. Luge does unfortunately split XP away from his slot. We do have a Magma Key in Antlion, so the world is a little open.
And I did not roll this seed, so you cannot hashtag blame Natara for this.
Who are we hashtag blaming today, other than Rivers?
I believe it's Dathis, our lovely restreamer.
Now, to be fair, I do not blame, just because we don't know if they still have to go dive that hook anyway, because we have no idea where Leviathan or Demist is hiding. 3 boss hunts, even when you know where one is, still makes you really paranoid about some of those spots there.
Fair enough, yes. And it's never Ultros at Z, friends. We know this. That's why
I never get to see my favorite at Zeramis either anymore.
Mm-hmm.
A ninja shirt and a package from the king there. Well, ninja shirt in the box, but more money. Beowulf, answer your question. Golbez is in the Baigan spot. Yes, he handed over the Luca key and said, "Come fight me when you're ready." Or at least that's probably what he said.
Which is never. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. He is just in the background practicing his hammy evil laughs right now.
As you do. Yeah, Mooney diving right down into the underground. Definitely a good play. Probably not gonna go into the Luca key, but you never know. It could decide to dive that early and see what the item is, even if they can't fight the boss.
You know, I'm not against actually just diving in there right now and getting that information.
It's not something I like doing because if it's something you do have to do, it's a bit of a time waste because you're going to have to go back. But there are lots of options you can do anyway. So, no, it looks. Oh, no. Okay, I thought for a second they were going to do it, but no, they're heading for the land of the summoned monsters. They're going to get the free item there and hopefully peek and see what bosses are sitting at Leviathan and the Ashura spots.
We were definitely hoping one way or the other there. Honestly, I just love it when they make my predictions correct because it makes me look smarter, right?
Yes. Yes, that's exactly what it does.
Third Runex in the land of summon monsters. Money everywhere.
I love it. Ooh, the pass. Not a key item in where it matters, but it is that free and fast transport to Zeromus when they're ready. Ooh, elixirs and star veils. That's a nice shop, but unfortunately, probably not going to buy many of them. Though, like we've mentioned, a lot of money to go around.
Elixir's just slightly expensive at 100k, but...
it's fine. I would have bought some of those Thor Rages just for safety, but... Oh, there was Demist, so we know where they're sitting.
Yeah, we do, and we know that the sparkle in the waterfall cave wasn't Wyvern because he's hiding out in Mist Cave.
Hurrah!
Oh my! However,
ooh, speaking of
package
has a foo, so that might be worth it, especially to find out what boss is hiding there. Whenever I do the package play, it is never an objective I need, but getting foo, especially this early, will be incredibly helpful.
Oh, absolutely. Most times if I get a package this early and I see everybody's favorite mop right there, 10 out of 10 times I am sticking around just for the Fusoya.
Absolutely. Oh, it's the pink mop, my favorite.
So the question actually is, with Mooney fading Fabul here, is going to check Sheila 1, might be going up to do Fabul afterwards. Does make me wonder if Mooney is going to duplicate that package check. If not, that's a huge thing for Norimaki, because Fu will may not have a immediate impact based on if he has that black magic or not. But as soon as he gets some of the tier 3s, Virus, Quake, Nuke, you're off to the races there.
And where he's got some bosses down already, Fu is going to start with more than just the very basics. So, yeah, we could get really lucky on those rolls and start out with, like, Nuke right away. That would be amazing.
Yeah, the unfortunate time where you're hoping that that one of the required bosses is not behind the package because people actually want to sit through this one.
I will laugh a lot if a required boss is behind a package. Because package never pays off, and that would mean package would pay off in this case. And that's delightful. Nope, Antlion. I love it when Antlion's at a separate spot with multiple people so you can see both of the claws coming. Or like walk separately. still worth it for the foo.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I do really like this routing that Mooni's doing, having skipped that Fabul check in order, and yeah, and is going back now. So that means you can essentially do 2 checks at once, which is fabulous.
Yeah, I do like it there with that Magma Key, and it does make me wonder here when Normaki is going to go back for that Antlion Cave. But please don't pull a me.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, it's gonna have to because it's a known objective. Hopefully, doesn't forget about it, but depends on what the runners do to keep track of those. I always write them down so I can't forget them.
Mm-hmm.
Or sorry, so I know what they are when I inevitably forget them.
I don't know. I've got a notebook. It's definitely something I love to write down, so I don't forget them. I just forget when places aren't part of them. Normaki going straight for Baron in here. Gonna show us what's behind the Dark Rims and whatever's there, and picking up that Rydia here.
Yeah, because the Dark Imps, especially in that spot, are just going to be a joke. But it's whatever's hiding behind there which could be a little more challenging.
Yep, Fu does at least have Lit 2 at 800 hit points there, so is just gonna lightning them down real quick here.
And we're about to get our Sheila 1 check as well. Only an Excal. And Plague. Wow, that's... Ooh, but got that Star Veil at the time.
Very
so
nice.
Easy peasy. When you put up a shield and you manage to get that up in time, and it bounces that count back, Plague script needs everybody to have that Doom on. So as long as someone doesn't, Plague will just continually cast it over and over. And anytime a character gets count cast on them again, it resets their counter back to the original 10. So that can be really helpful, providing we get that out soon. Yep, there it goes. So
I was about to say, Plague taking his sweet time there.
Oh, good. Mooney checking their package. So he's going to also get his foo, it looks like. So that will be less of an advantage for Norimaki.
And Plague goes down Normaki's side and gonna pick up Rydia and Meteor
with Wall as well. So Twin Harp. Yes, the tunes. I love the tunes.
Well, I mean, Norimaki might just be chasing that here. Does have foo. He hasn't gone to Antlion yet. It's Antlion or Deals or Twin Harp now. We could be hearing music soon. Or at least I hope we hear music soon. Might also actually see if Norimaki is so interested in the Hobbs flag come into play here as well.
Music is in fact randomized, and it is a pool of different songs which are in there, quite a lot of them. So yeah, none of us know what that's going to be. Normaki is going to check Antlion first, which is definitely an excellent idea. But that is I believe that was the Magma Key, so may not end up diving that anytime soon for that Twin Harp, but we'll see.
No, might be fading it for a little while longer, but that's just anticipation. We all know it's totally a required troll right there, I'm sure. That and may want to wait until maybe have access to the burst spell, just for Sid and or Yang, just in case, because magic defense there is rather silly. Could wait on that Meteor though.
Meteor. Yeah, Bursk or Berserk is a really excellent magic spell to have, especially when you've got those combat-oriented characters. They do more damage and tend to be faster as well, so it's really good. Has there been a boss hunt bus spot overlap yet? Yes, we have. If you mean if they have both checked some of the same spots, then yes, they absolutely have. If you mean something else, boss hunt. I'm not sure I understand the question.
I believe the question means boss hunt where we actually find the boss in a required place. So actually, I will say that has happened, and in fact, it was the seed I ran against Red Coughlin.
Nice.
Where we were hunting. No, wait, it wasn't so much there. It was the key item we were looking for. But yeah, it would be Leviathan at the Baron basement in that case.
Yeah, I'm sure it has happened. I'm not sure that I've seen it, but I would be shocked if it had not happened.
Yeah. And Norimaki going immediately for the swag here.
I love the swag.
Food does have access to Cure 3 fairly early as well there, so healing taken care of, especially if you want to, if you find a heroin robe or, good bow and arrow for that Rosa.
Oh yeah, that could be really powerful.
Speaking of powerful. I will say I believe that is the first time I have seen Medio at Antlion Cave.
I love it. Anytime you can use Medio is a good time. Because
It really
Medio,
is.
oh my gosh, is this going to be vanilla Mylon? I need to see if this is Mylon or Mylon Z. It's vanilla! Is this even randomized? Oh my god. I love it. Yes, Norimaki has completed 3 now, but only just.
Norimaki is going to show us the Hobbs flag, though.
Yep, let's see what we get.
That looks like Titan.
That does look like Titan.
That's actually one of the best rolls Rydia can pick up off of Hobbs there. Says, Quake Kid, yeah, I can do that too now.
Yep. Yeah, because Mylon is in his vanilla spot as well, he's gonna have the same stats he usually does. And you usually don't have, Fusuya. So, and you have way better gear than you would in the vanilla game. So, definitely a good place to find that. And it does mean that the other Mylon that we saw in the underground in the Feymarch is definitely Mylon Z, that seems like a pretty rude spot for that.
It's kind of rude, but makes me feel a little bit better just because, you can leverage that fire weakness there. But unfortunately, Mylon Z's script is more of hit you, and hit you some more. And unfortunately, in a spot like that, it kind of hurts. Uh-oh. Is that what oh, so almost.
Oh, lucky, because that icon can either be Water Hag as we see it, or the actual 6-fight Fabul Gauntlet, which takes forever. And if it ends up what is behind it, or the location is not required, it's such a time waste unless your opponent actually does it as well. So, which looks likely in this case anyways, but no, got lucky, it is the Water Hag, but it does mean when we see that blue-robed character someone else, we know that's the Fabul Gauntlet.
Yep. One thing though, with the Fabul Gauntlet here, with the flags here in the bracket stage, is that while the Fabul Gauntlet has been lowered from 6 to 5 fights, the alternate Gauntlet flag here also pulls in fights from the area instead of the vanilla fights. I believe we had a seed last night where it was on the Ogopogo spot. and our runners had to contend with behemoths, evil masks, and red dragons as part of the Fabul Gauntlet.
That seems incredibly rude.
You love to see it.
You do, yeah. Okay, let's see what our key item is going to be inside the Pally Cave. And see if Levy is in here. The only boss we don't know the location that we need that we don't know the location of. Rat tail. They don't have the hook yet to be able to turn that in.
That is Odin, however. Good place to see him, if you're a runner at least.
Yeah, especially with Fu with Lit 2, which is lightning is his weakness, especially once his sword arm goes up.
So our question kind of comes down to Mooni's still has the Baron in as well, but running out of freer checks right now is kind of going down to what looks like a keyless tower. Probably not ready for the summons bosses yet. I'm kind of surprised neither of them did check underground for sirens, because that is possibly a thing here.
Yeah, and we do still have that twin harp for Norimaki, so that is another check that could be done, which is especially with their party and their abilities, I think that would be pretty easy to handle.
Yeah, area, we did, you may turn in a little bit late, a lot of boss hunting. We do know the location of Golbez. He is residing at the Baiken spot. We do know the location of Demis. That was, I did not actually see if that was at the Asura or Leviathan spot, but it is one of the two.
It is the left spot.
That would be Leviathan then. So the only one we don't know is actual Leviathan here, so we do know the locations of 2 of the 3 boss hunts here.
Yeah, and they have already completed the antline nest, as you see up there. So all we're really looking for now is the Baron key and Leviathan.
Yeah, that's go mode at that point there, because they do have access to that pass, or at least Norimaki would after turning in. No, that was the rat tail chest. That's where that was.
Yeah, and now that Mooney is doing the Baron Inn, I seem to recall that was where the Twin Harp was. So soon to also get Rydia and the Twin Harp. Be interesting to see whether he dives back underground, as he's been there already, or whether he takes that Twin Harp.
Yeah, I would be tempted with one more boss hunt remaining still to maybe make that Dwarf Castle play as well. And that was, I didn't see all the spells on that Fu level, although I did see Quake, I saw Cure 4, probably didn't matter what that third spell was at that point, honestly.
Nope, not if we saw some Quake. All olds. I love it. I always love naming Tella really foolish things. So it's like all really bizarre names have learned this to never be used.
And we'll tick up the Meteo counter here, because we do see a Meteo coming out against Plague there, which is totally what Plague deserves. Let's not kid ourselves here.
Yeah, agreed. Oh, that was definitely Quake I saw there on Mooney's side. Yes.
That was Blink as the third spell there, actually, which is super useful as well.
That's really good. Blink makes you immune to physical for 3 hits. So when you're in those very high damage spots, that can be incredibly powerful. Oh yeah, looks like we're getting some Twin Harp here for Norimaki. I am ready for some music. I definitely already have his stream brought up, so I can find out what the music is.
Absolutely here. You love to see it this early too. And if Mooney is, we're gonna have a double feature coming on here.
Oh, I'm ready for this.
Or at the very least, it's gonna check shops here, because I don't think anybody has yet.
That is correct. Ooh, illusions and kamikazes. Is Rydia slower than Sid? It depends on levels and gear. Honestly, but usually she's not, but she absolutely can be.
Yeah, usually if you put them in about the same level where they would be, and yes, we know Rydia does level up slightly slower, but Rydia is generally faster than Sid, assuming semi-equivalent levels. Is going to make a safety save here, and I actually love to see this because I've actually seen some kind of brutal twin harps here. Physical power of this team with that Sid is nice, but not the best here. And if we run into something rude like, Fabulous, that could be really bad really quick, but with this coming on, when the music is about to come up, I will drop off the comms here so we can actually hear what our awesome music is for tonight. Frizz123 Normaki has not been to the Land of Summons yet, has not picked up the pass just yet.
Okay, about to hear the music.
Yep, we hear you after the music.
Yeah, I was gonna say I believed that was Guile, but I didn't want to say anything until chat started to talk about it. Yeah, gotta love it when it's a bop.
I was imagining it, and then it happened.
I'm listening to it, and it is excellent. Wow, what is with this double vanilla going on here? Excuse me, Seed. Excuse me.
All right, so we've got a vanilla Dark Elf, we've got a vanilla Mylon. What else can we vanilla out of this seed here?
Love it. Well, this is certainly slightly shuffled. It's actually quite well shuffled, but a couple of the bosses were like, "You can't make me move. I live here."
Now, one thing that is going to come up here is usually, especially in a couple previous tournaments, the Dark Elf Phase 2 was kind of a little bit of a joke here, but I haven't seen all of Fu's spell list here. Does unfortunately, yes, kicks in with the normal music. That's reason enough to take it to him there, but no stop, no... Well, actually, I thought I saw weak on Fu, so... That actually would probably be the play here.
Okay, now that we've had the me change, I've gotta go to Mooney's stream. Mooney, so I can get Guile's theme. We don't want no boss music. We want Guile's theme. And I've been trolled by an ad. What? Yeah, it looks like neither of these runners are going to have any sort of issue with this fight. I'm sure Mooney's Rydia is not going to last for very long, but she can always be resurrected right before the fight ends.
Yeah, real quick, Fox, should Dark Elf Dragons still have the weakness, what happens is that after Dark Elf does the me change portion, Hourglass 3.
Whoa. Useful, but not really what they wanted to see there.
You love to see it. Anyways, as I was going on to say, when the Dark Elf does do the change there, the Dark Elf does drop his his boss bit, and all of the nifty immunities that go along with it, including hourglasses, stop, weak, fun things like that.
Yeah, using weak in this fight is what we do in the vanilla speedrun of this game. So it's always neat when you get to see vanilla Dark Elf because you're just like, oh hey, I know what we do in vanilla for this fight. Let's do. Then again, it doesn't matter where Dark Elf is. Whenever he changes, he loses those boss bits immunities. Gotta love to see those 9s on the Meteo as well. Whew.
And actually, I will refresh a little bit because I am a little bit behind here. One moment.
Nope, sorry, that was me still looking at the his personal stream and being a little ahead. But I've closed it now. This is why you commentate from the right stream, folks. Even having the runner stream up by accident or for another purpose, then you'll spoil everybody. Yeah, it's me, Bad Natara. They'll never ask me back again. Yes. I mean, no.
They love you too much, Natara. They'll always ask you back.
Hashtag blame Natara. Now you can really get your hashtag blame Nataras in chat.
Now is about 15 minutes ago, right?
Correct. So Mooney is about to get his well-earned reward of a Hourglass 3. Ooh, vampires. Hello. Look, chat. I love you. Look at you. You're all wonderful.
So aside from 2 very quick underground checks here, Norimaki and Mooney here are both still keeping things very close here. No clear leader. It is still anybody's race at this point.
Love to see those silk webs.
That is a pretty loaded Agar shop right there.
Yeah, and yes, currently I would go as far as to say that, yeah, Mooney is currently at least slightly in the lead, having already been underground and done some of the checks there. So anything you see that Mooney has that Norimaki does not is because of that previous underground dip. So depending on how Norimaki chooses to route this and how well that goes will determine on how great or small that lead will get.
Yeah, at this point, it's just, I believe, the pass in the Feymark and the Excalibur from Sheila 1. Has just realized, forgot something, did not drop the key in the well. No giant hole in the mountain range yet, as Mooney gets the news of Wyvern and the Mega Nuke.
That's a spirit. Thankfully, didn't need that, yeah.
That's Battle Speed 5 coming out from Mooney here. You did see 20 illusions there. Is going back for Wyvern here, actually. Once that extra... Yeah, once it for the spells here. Once it for the foo power. Also seems to want to be wanting to slingshot that Rydia or keep her as an anchor, one of the two.
Yeah, and also apparently wanting some more spells there. The only reason you'd want to kill that wyvern. But definitely got some more good spells for Fu. As for those who are not familiar with this flax set, it's one to make Fusuya a little less overpowered. So he starts with a default of 600 HP, I believe, and like 6 randomized, not very great spells. And for every boss you defeat, he gains another 100 HP and another 3 randomized spells. So, it's Levy hard. So almost the Leviathan we were looking for.
We have dueling bosses on each screen. 2 shots of people you really don't want to see right now. And unless that Lit 2 comes up really big, is gonna get the... Ooh, yeah. Although Norimaki pulling out the Galaxy Brain strategies here does realize that, hey, there's a Thunder Rod on Rydia. We can use that to drop the water.
Yeah, very smart to nope out of Ogo there, especially where it's not a required boss. If you're going to struggle with a boss that you're just doing to get some extra spells, you might as well drop it after that one attempt and progress on. So, very smart.
Yeah, Jeebus, real quick, Ogo has not Ogo, I thought you were talking about Kanyanso there for a second, and I'm like, nope, never mind. Yeah, Ogo Pogo actually not weak to lightning. At this point, with all the damage that Norimaki has done, that Kenyatsu wave should not hurt very much here. Should Kenyatsu get it off here? It does look like that might be happening. Yep.
Be interesting to see how the two different parties and the two different runners end up making through this same fight, whether Mumuni can pull ahead on this fight, or whether Norimaki will get out first for having been there first.
Yep, I am seeing constant lit 2s here. Gonna get a lot of those. One of the most annoying messages in the game there. Yes, we are aware that Kanyatsu is hiding inside of his shell, and that message takes forever to go away.
What? That doesn't sound right.
That said, down goes the turtle, and it looks like Mooney, I was not watching that, had to take a reset there.
You hate to see it.
Fu getting that burst spell, Rydia getting her age up, and what's our character here? It'll be really interesting to see a Cecil, because Norimaki does not know that there is an Excalibur waiting on Sheila 1. That, however, is an old man.
Sad. Literally, it's old man. Goodbye.
That, however, is a really free fight in a fairly free location.
We're not sad to see that.
Going for the Hourglass 3 there. There's a pretty late virus. I want to say that's 1,700 hit points there. And what are we gonna get out of this Dwarf Castle check here?
Super interesting to see.
A life staff. Really great stick. Not exactly what our runners were looking for.
Not even close. Oh no.
That dwarf taking his stair guarding job extremely seriously right there.
Listen, somebody's got to.
Ooh, ninja hats in the dwarf armory there.
That's a nice find.
Okay, that wave wasn't too bad. It didn't even hit triple digits, so Mooney should be pretty close to... Yeah, that quake should do it. Dwarf boss not on the list, but neither is the Kaipo Grandma, and we're sad for that.
Well, it looks like it's actually gonna loot the towers.
I think that's the 5th rune X I've seen this seed.
Yeah, that's when it rains, it pours. My goodness. Too bad, and I was gonna say Sid can't even dual wield them, so we only need one. That's it, just one.
Just one, but they sell for a ton of money, so I'm not entirely sad to see all of them.
And Beowulf, how do you know we don't already have a Kaipo Grandma Zeromus sprite?
Only Scala Kitty knows.
Truth.
And we do see our sirens in the Dwarf Castle item shop. Norimaki immediately saying, I'll take 30.
Yep. Only have 5 key items right now, though, so it means you're not going to get that double experience, but definitely good both to boost some characters right now if you so wish or need, or to save until later game when you do have those 10 key items to get a quick boost to the finish. So looks like going to do a little bit of leveling now.
Yeah, Norimaki does not know that D-Mist is where D-Mist is right now. However, if you're going to want to go take D-Mist right now, why not?
Absolutely, and this is going to be helpful. Like, there's no way this is going to hurt doing this. It's just possible that it could be more useful later. Either way, certainly not going to hurt.
He is getting a thunder counter there. Does need to drop this dragon pretty soon here. Probably one of the best ways to kill the dragon here without having it hatch is probably Quake out of Fusoya right now. Does get it down here, and here comes the levels 34,000 XP at a time. I hear that's pretty good.
It's not bad.
No, we've already got a Moon Veil in the inventory that said all we need to get Kane magic is to find Kane. Virus and Food will do it too on a, I don't know if it's a high roll or not, but yeah, if you're going to hit that D-Mist down there, I like this early grind here.
Yeah, I also really love this play by Moo Mooney, checking that Luca key. You started with the Luca key, and while it is possible it leads to absolutely nothing, I don't like to just skip out on checking those key items you get early. I usually end up paying for it when I do, so it'll be curious to see whether something necessary was hidden behind that all along, or whether it's just a wasted check.
Yeah, the better news here is actually that Moo Mooney knows where Miss Dragon is, so knows that unless it's Leviathan hanging out down here,
or the Baron key.
Yeah, or the Baron key. Well, I mean, if you come up with something like the hook to turn in that rat tail, I mean, there's quite a few things you might have to walk out of here. You get a Sand Ruby, you're probably pretty good, but
Yeah,
Actually,
absolutely.
I kind of went. You're gonna have to check that boss regardless because of Leviathan right now.
Yeah.
That said, like I said, I like Normaki's grind here because Normaki is going to be ready for whatever boss the underground throws at Normaki here. That, however, is vanilla and required, most likely. Well, maybe
Yep.
not required, but very likely.
It could be because there could be key items there. It's not something you can afford to leave behind.
Speaking of vanilla,
Dathis, what have you done? That is the third vanilla boss we have had this seed. It's kind of amazing in a terrifying sort of way.
what is Kane going to show up at the end of this dungeon to steal that darkness crystal away from us?
Yeah, but I just got it. You can't take it. That'd be terrible. Are we sure the bosses are actually randomized? No. No, we're not. But we do know to hashtag blame Dathis.
Yeah. We know 4 of the moon bosses are not on the moon, actually. The only actual moon boss not accounted for right now is Pale Dim. Normaki goes to the healing pot, then right back to the, we'll call it the Peninsula Power here. Why not?
I like it. Has anyone peeked tower? No. No, they have not. Yeah, there's still a lot we haven't seen yet, so could be really interesting.
Yeah. The biggest of trolls are still in play. Giant could happen, Moon could happen, there could be value in cave behemoths, all that kind of nice things.
Yeah.
Mooney does get by the evil wall here with only Sid down. Probably pretty sure Mooney is not caring about Rydia. Unless the slingshot does have that darkness crystal, however, so D-Machines could be in Mooney's future here.
Yeah, absolutely. Though does also have access to the those Ryus on the moon as well if he does find those sirens. There's a few different options open for sure. It'd be interesting to see what ends up happening.
Meanwhile, how long is Normaki gonna take this grind here? Looks like party levels are approaching 40 here. Getting quite powerful here at the moment.
If you're going to take the time to grind, I definitely appreciate grinding for long enough that you're not going to have to again. And it means wherever you find the bosses you need to fight, you're more likely to be able to defeat them then and there. So I definitely appreciate this strategy.
Yeah. Nuke with Rydia is going to take a lot of sirens. I would actually... I do like the whole let's get her to all of her tier 3 magic. Given that's what seems to be happening here. I did just see her pick up Ice 3. And that power command from Yong is starting to get kind of beefy here. Meanwhile, Mooney doing objectives here, or at least doing progression, looks like Mooney will be taking the fight to probably D-Mist here. I guess as somebody did say, Mooney did pick up something on the order of about 20 illusions. Gonna be totally doable just because of the script. Gonna be a long fight. Did get 30.
Possible.
Yeah, we'll be leaning into. Don't know if Mooney has any ethers because Fusoya's nuke is probably going to be the best source of damage for that. Oh no, it's going for Mylon here, actually. Normaki is definitely going a long way here with this grind, though. Gonna be able to roll over anything here, probably, in the seed.
Yeah, and again, that has its pros and cons. Like you mentioned, he will be able to roll over anything. But on the other side, while Norimaki is here getting all these levels, Mooney is making actual progress.
Yeah, it just comes down to how fast, how much time Normaki can make up with all this additional grind. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good work at about 2,000 a punch here on Mylon there with those fire claws.
Yeah, sometimes those elemental weak strengths there can make up for a lot of the lack of levels you may or may not have.
And that Fire 3 out of Fu doing 8,500, nothing to turn your nose up there as Mylon Z goes down in short order. And we're rewarded with a really nice rod.
Well, that's great. Also, you get a fair amount of experience from that spot too. So this is leveling that Mooney's getting at the same time, saving him from needing to do his own grind or maybe as long a grind. So, you can take it.
Yeah, I would not turn my nose up at that Stardust Rod, especially like what you said, that experience that you get from there. Not exactly an egg, but nothing to throw your nose up at, especially when you're going to be going after this demist here.
Yeah, and if he can do enough of these boss fights, again, he's getting these levels without having to spend the extra time just leveling. Like Norimaki is getting levels, but that's all Norimaki is getting. Mooney is getting experience and levels while also doing boss and item checks. So, doing that double duty, definitely a more efficient use of your time if you can pull it off. You are better off to take your time and do the leveling if you're gonna have to try multiple times for those bosses. You don't want to have to be at them, trying again and again and again, because that's even more of a waste of time.
Absolutely, and with the moon likely in play, even if Normaki does not know it here, with the moon likely possibly in play, there is a ton of XP to have on this time. And while I liked it to begin with, might be taking the grind a little too far right now, in my personal opinion, at least.
Yeah, we're finally getting Mooney checking Tower of Babel, so that will be interesting because nobody else has checked the tower yet, and we know for sure we have access to at least one item here, or one potential boss and item. We won't be able to check the second without that tower key, but who knows, we could have some more vanilla hiding up at the top of that tower, and it could be our tower key. Always love it when that happens. And yeah, no, Mooney likely left Demist because Demist is fairly rude in that spot. So might want to wait until he knows again he's not going to have to try it or waste a lot of time.
Agreed. Demist at that place, especially given you have no access to Berserk, is even with Fu, I didn't see really any MP restoratives as an incredible time sink. We do see Karate at top of the tower, sending away the dolls at Rubicon, so we do know our Leviathan is not there.
Yep.
The one thing is, Mooney, if Mooney is going to be committing to this slingshot that I believe I'm seeing here, probably does want to get it done sooner rather than later. Does have that darkness crystal. May just, I mean, I don't mind a tower check. Tower check has helped me in a race or two. Yeah, John Hummel, they did find D-Mist. D-Mist is at the Leviathan spot in the Land of Summons, so while they have found the D-Mist, not exactly in a nice spot.
Yeah, it's quite the rude spot, but again, potentially doable, but don't want to waste more time there than you have to. And got a power shirt. Well, nothing really
Young,
that you needed there.
Young loves it, but nope. And meanwhile, Normaki's still scrambling eggs here.
Probably trying to get his nuke to a better level. One of the downsides of Rydia, as great as she can be, her HP level growth is atrocious, to put it kindly. It is very bad, and if you just don't get those levels, she's not going to survive a hit from Big Bang when you're fighting Zeromus. So all these levels are nice and such, but, not going to survive the hits, and it takes longer for her to get some of the really good spells. But with all this time he's spending, and again, Mooney making actual checks, Norimaki is probably going to have to get really lucky at this point. But again, Seed's not over. He could get that lucky.
Absolutely. Norimaki is gonna be banking here on something incredibly rude on the moon. And actually, Mooney did find Sirens as well, is going to go to that grind here. Is a few key items short as well, so the Rydia Slingshot is not going to be a thing. Probably just keeping it around for an anchor there, I'm guessing. Yeah, that looks to be the case, as there goes the punch. But yeah, with all these Sirens, and like I said, the case is you're likely to see a lot of bosses on the moon, and those guys are XP sinks in and of themselves. There's Nukon Rydia, so she's all the way to 50. The one thing, it's still going here. Using all 30 Sirens, gonna be incredibly swole when it comes to Zeromus at this point. This is Siren 30, so... I actually doubt this Rydia can totally survive an unearthed Big Bang right now, if just to the point where she does have actually great defensive options in terms of magic defense. If she's wearing like a wizard tiara, a diamond ring or better, and has a decent stick, she'll usually actually make a few of those evade rolls. I mean, I will, wave the hashtag Team Rydia flag here. She actually has a very similar HP growth to Palom. It's just that leveling curve is horrendous. So Norimaki is done with the grind and is, at least in terms of checks, behind about the entire underground here. Meanwhile, Mooney is going straight for... looks like those quick Sirens were to possibly take on a D-Mist here.
I think that's super smart.
Yeah, I like doing... personally, I love doing a few eggs just to get Summons Boss ready. Because really, that's about all you need. Yeah, the extra will doesn't do much for Rydia other than give her like an extra magic evade roll or two. We'll not get into the hard numbers of that just yet, but I have seen her take almost, I've seen her take triple digits from an unnerved Big Bang at max, equip before. Nori gonna be grabbing that darkness crystal, getting this vanilla here. Gonna run it over here because I'm pretty sure here comes Berserk, nuke, more nuke.
Yeah, look at how much damage that D-Mist is doing per hit. Woof.
Oh yeah, this is not the hardest hitting spot in the game, but pretty close, honestly. Yeah, the ether question is definitely, like I said, if Mooney was going to go do D machines, I was gonna wonder a little bit more about that ether count. And honestly, could still be looking to slingshot. Just wanted to get Demus ready here. The longer this seed goes, though, the less likely I see that happening.
Yeah, absolutely. It's more likely that Rydia, because Rydia down at that low level is much better as an agility anchor. So yeah, slingshot or agility anchor, but yeah.
Someday she will get her time. That day is not today.
Nope.
At least not on
yet,
Mooney's
it's not.
side. Norimaki, her day is right now with that nuke spell.
Oh yeah. Especially with both her and Fusuya having that nuke spell, that is quite excellent. Never sad to see that.
So it was a small time savings. Did blow through that evil wall very quickly, but has a lot of time to make up through all those eggs still. So
Yeah.
just how many drops in the bucket do you need to get there?
We're gonna find out because just Mooney is just simply ahead on so many on the checks. So even if it turns out that Norimaki is going through the fights faster and easier, he's still there's just so many checks left to do. So yeah, that's definitely going to be a challenge. So definitely going to be curious to see how this goes.
Norimaki does have Dwarf checked out. Keyless Tower and Feymark are both not there. However, Norimaki is walking straight to the point where a big time savings could happen because Fu using Psych on Mooney's side to get more nuke juice there. Because that's honestly the best way to get rid of D-Mist at this point. Warp totally works in Sealed Cave, by the way. But yeah, you do see just how long this D-Mist fight is still taking.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it is a very long fight. And one of the benefits that Norimaki has for delaying this check for so long before coming down and after those levels is it's much more likely that Norimaki's just going to be able to clear it in one shot. And it's one of the reasons checking the Fey March can be so bad is because you often have to come here, and leave and come back and leave potentially, so it can be bad. Got a Pinktail, which is, while it is a key item in itself, it will not yield either the adamant armor in these flags or another key item. So definitely nice to have if you're checking out the Rat Tail anyways, but as they don't have the hook, at least it's a key item and an objective done.
The best couple of reasons to check that are usually like a Crystal Sword or an Avenger, and neither of the two party members who use that are in the party or even known to be close to the party this time, although there is a pending character check at the Lunar Throne. Coffins at Tamra, they're all along.
Oh. Well, the grind is done there, so not so important or anything. But can still be useful to have. But at this point, not sure how useful they are.
Yeah, both runners actually still sitting with that Soma drop in their inventory. Um, Generally, if I've got a Fu in my party, it is immediately going to the mop at that point.
Yeah, Fusia only has 190 MP, and that will not go up at any point without that Japanese-only item of a Soma drop. So using that will give him a full extra cast of nuke because he goes from having just enough MP to cast 3 of them to that 10. That boost of just 10 gives him enough to cast that 4th. So, or another one in any case, and it's very good. Definitely useful to give it to him versus giving 10 to basically anyone else who has plenty of MP. Wow, also Mop doing that save. Wow.
Now, maybe I missed it, but I didn't see Mumuni check out Rydia's mom.
I did not see that either. No, I don't believe he has. Hopefully, Mumuni has not forgotten that is something you can do.
Oh man, I was really hoping with Fu at 8 HP there, that the Cold Mist counter might actually get somebody, but that did not happen.
Yep. Oh, casting. Why would you cast Berserk on someone for demist?
Going for it here.
Oh, gosh, the only way this really pays off is if Sid is doing enough damage to get through without too many of those mist cycles, because even though the mist counter isn't really doing much damage, it does take up time. And so that's a lot of time wasted if you end up having someone berserked through that mist phase. So again, hopefully he's doing enough damage to not have to worry about that. But yeah, berserking anyone in demist can be a terrible mistake.
Yeah, and I'm going to guess that Norimaki was not really accounting on Fu to take a 3,000 hit point hit there.
Yeah, really.
At the very least, it is Sid. I have seen Sid's got relatively low agility. I have seen an Avenger Kane, however, have be berserk during this, and I lost count of how many cold mists I ate at that point before I hit the reset button. And at the very least, this is in the Leviathan spot, which is relatively fast as well. So it looks like he only got 2 or 3 swings there before the get ready to fight message came back out. Meanwhile, Mumuni up on the moon. And we get a Dragoon.
Ooh, be interesting to see if he takes him. At this point, I certainly wouldn't, but
It's a very hard sell. Now, Mumuni has not completed a full-on grind, but as I also saw, it did not really have a great cane weapon. Probably one of those many rune axes. Does pitch the Dragoon, no need for that. Cecil would have been a lot harder with an Excalibur chilling in that inventory right now, though. A little late for that self-summon in the Hummingway shop as well there. Great in the early and mid-game for Rydia. And not so much approaching this part of the game. No, Moon Dragoon there. Also, because I am obliged to say it, Moo Mooney is looking for value.
hashtag value.
Bus driver, if it was Edge, I would think about it, but I didn't really see much great there. Oh my, that's extremely rude right there.
Yep.
Is what that is. Val is going to hit quite hard here.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting if he can do the damage. Can actually, well, not do the damage. Can actually hit Val, and it's entirely possible that this spot is low on that magic accuracy there, or whichever stat it is you need, and could be able to actually hit her even with spells. But yeah, she's hitting for a lot of damage, but at least they're able to hit her themselves with in that spin form still.
Yeah, it looks like hitting her is not the problem here. Living through those couple 1,000-point hits, however, this is actually what Norimaki is hoping for. This is the rude boss on the moon that your grind is going to pay out on here. Because, I mean, we were getting a little low on it. We've seen Kanyanso, we know where Golbez is, we know where a lot of those rude bosses are. Val was one of the ones left here, and living up to that particular hype here.
Yeah, and being able to nuke her in this spot is definitely helpful. I thought this was one of those spots that even though she hits like a truck, that you can hit her with anything as well. So not perfect, but will help.
Norimaki is coming up on the tower, which is the last Earth check that Mumuni has done over. So we do see Norimaki making up time here, and is gonna make up a whole lot more if a wipe happens here. However, it does have illusions. Might want to get a heal / Asuna in on that Fu, because I don't know how long he's got on a petrified timer here, but is in good shape for the moment, because Val, while kind of scary here, can't exactly kill any of those characters with that blink up. So the question is, there's a decent amount of damage going out here, just how much more Mooney has to get out here. Does look like I did see an Ether 1 going out on Rosa. MP levels are beginning to become an issue here.
Yeah, that's always the problem with Fu in any sort of extended fight.
Nope, down goes Val. Very well done.
Very, very well done. That's gonna help a lot, especially if there's something that Mooney needs here.
Only a ninja sword.
Absolutely nothing useful.
Value in K Bahamut. You're welcome.
No, negatory. There was no value. Yeah, time to go check out the actual Lunar Palace. See what bosses are hiding there. Or at least what key item.
Doing the smart thing, seeing that power shirt, mashing that reset button, saying, nope, don't need that, I've got levels, let's just keep going, is, however... Oh, nope, never mind, I spoke too soon. Is going to check out Sheila 1 here, gonna get that Excalibur. Thought we were gonna get that D-Mist check, got denied on that one. everybody's thinking, oh yes, we got our objective for killing Demas. Why do you ask? There's nothing else there.
Nope. Okay, so it looks like I have a feeling Mooney's now going to dive directly to the bottom and work his way up. Definitely seems to be the smart plan. Save at that save point and then check out all those bosses.
I mean, given we're still looking for a key item, I mean, the classics are still the best for a reason sometimes.
Yep.
And Normaki is going that way. Yep, we're gonna get our check.
Oh, this will be interesting. This could be the play. That's the Baron key?
It's a hook, which gives us the rat
Ooh.
tail.
So that is another check.
Normaki does have the pink tail as well. I did see the... But also does mean... Oh, I was about to say, where do you go? Oh, you're not checking that rat tail is where you're going. You're going to summon the lunar whale.
Interesting. Is it possible that Norimaki forgot that, they're in possession of the rat tail? Yeah.
Absolutely a possibility.
Oh, hey, it's the elements.
Mylon did not stick around long there.
Mylon who?
Casual 8,000 damage.
Yep. Love to see it.
Might want to be careful if he doesn't want any levels in that Riddy here. Sid with the Runex could get things done here. Because the second part of elements, the Rubicon slot here, does actually have a mage weakness. So Runeaxes, silent staves, everything like that will get your quad damage on Rubicon there.
Don't worry, he made sure that Rosa took care of her. Rosa did hit that Rydia and done.
So Norimaki heading for the moon, only a few minutes behind. Matters if that Cave Bahamut check comes up here or not, because we know it's garbage. So the question, no, going straight, nope, diverting to Cave Bahamut.
Oh, the memes.
The tease. I get it a lot more than Mumuni is just because Normaki's grind is completely done. There is no reason to even think about wanting that Lunar Palace character.
Yeah, also true. And always better to get Cave Bahamut out of the way before diving, because there's nothing worse than finding nothing or not what you needed in the Lunar Palace, and then checking Cave Bahamut and everything you were looking for was there, and you're like, I just wasted all that time.
Natara, have you been watching my races? That is what I did in week 1. I'm like, Odin's there. I don't want any part of that. Oh no, Odin had exactly what we needed.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh no, we're fine.
You hate to see it, but you definitely do see it. I've seen some magical plays like that in the past. Oh, Ashura. Hey, sup?
Hey. Sid still got that Runex, right?
Yep, see what she's got for us, because the ribbons chest certainly did not have anything we needed. There was a nice... Yeah, Leviathan. There was a Leviathan in there, but sadly, we don't need the summon. We need to fight the boss.
And Norimaki might get a little bit of mileage out of it on any multi-target fights, but let's be real, it's not really. Its time is kind of past.
It's just no good. Once you have Nuke and Quake, you're not going to be using your summons. They're just, generally speaking, not even worth it.
But what you are seeing here is, at the very least, slowly but surely here, Mumuni's levels are catching up a bit here. Still quite a bit down, but The moon is a grind. If you have to do the moon and you have to kill a lot of bosses on the moon, your grind is done without ever having to touch that siren button.
Mm-hmm.
It is entirely interesting how you see the spots which don't actually have, like, attacks, like, you know, Plague, CPU, places like that, just how big that attack stat is behind some of those bosses that never really use them in the vanilla game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Norimaki getting the bad news, the Murasame resets immediately out. And there's a value at the White Spear, because
Ooh.
there's our Baron Key. The
Nice.
question is, if you're Mumuni, do you bail out right now to check it?
I see the save. Saving and doing a save scrum maybe is helpful, but yeah, there are two objectives, a minimum of two objectives locked behind that Baron key. We have the Baron Castle basement, and we know that Golbez is in the Beigen spot. So the only thing that both of our runners is still looking for and that nobody has seen yet is that Leviathan boss. So yeah, definitely worth it to at least check what's there. Like, I would even go as far as to say at this point, if you see a boss and it's not the one you need, just reset out if you don't need the experience.
Does need the experience.
Yeah.
Baron Guards, however, pretty good for it here. You're gonna see the coffins come out.
Oh, yes.
Going back for that life glitch. Can he get it in time? Looks like it.
Ooh, close. That was a nice play. Yeah, and still doesn't have that 10 key item, so definitely want to take any bit of extra experience there.
Meanwhile, Norimaki gonna show us what's on top of the moon here. That's a spoon. Is key item number 9. So when that crystal comes down, that will be key item the 10th.
Huh? Be interesting to see what boss is up here as well. Oh, it's Beigen.
And without knowledge of where that Baron key is, Norimaki feels like this fight has to be taken.
Mm-hmm. At least it's experience. Oh, wait. Be interesting to see what is here. I'm really hoping it's not a rabbit hole. It's entirely possible to get a progression item here that may or may not actually be needed, and for Norimaki to take it and run. So certainly hope that's not the case. Hopefully both of our runners kind of full clear the moon here, get everything they need, and then progress onwards and see what they can get, because again, they do still have to find and defeat Leviathan. So depending on where that boss is sitting, they could still require more key items for access.
True. Now, also hear me out. The thing I was just thinking of, I'm like, you know what? Where would be the rudest place for our King of Summons, or at least of that
CPU spot.
Realm there? You say CPU. I say hiding somewhere in the Tower of Zod.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't say Tower of Zot to be terrible. I would say Upper Babel, because that's completely unnecessary other than the bosses.
True. I'm just thinking like I have almost, aside from the fact that there's 2 bosses there, I don't really want to make that Earth Crystal check.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But at least you can get a key item out of that spot. If you have access to the underground, unless you're hunting for bosses, you get literally nothing from Upper Babel. Nothing. Ooh, we get the pen. I had a feeling the pen was gonna be there.
Mm-hmm. That is a extremely interesting item there, especially with what you say. I mean, really, with the Tower Key and the Earth Crystal still at large, and possibly neither really being a rabbit hole. What about that Tower Key, actually, now that I think about it? Putting them there would be kind of annoying.
Yeah. That would be, yeah, there's still a few really interesting spots, but it's entirely possible a Leviathan could be right on that Baron King throne or the Baron Castle basement throne, and then it turns out that Baron Key was blocking 3 spots. So, yeah, I would definitely, once they're done clearing the moon, go check that next for sure. Like, I wouldn't even touch the pen until I knew that there was nothing, like, that all three weren't at Barren Castle.
Absolutely. Get your known objectives out of the way first. Meanwhile, down goes Pale Dim. 28 levels for that Rydia now.
Nice.
I wonder if that's an oops, but regardless, I love to see it.
Yeah. Definitely amusing.
Does take a reset after finding a gold apple.
Wah wah.
Yep. Was a don't care, gonna reset out of now imagine if that was actually like a tower key or something.
Yeah, well, thankfully it was not, so no big deal.
So, as I was actually saying before that, Pale Dim is the last of our Lunar Sparkles, so no Lunar Sparkles still exist yet in this seed. We found them all.
Yeah, and Martha's correct. Mooney is now going for his pan. So upon getting that, we'll probably leave the moon, having checked everything else, and we'll finally get to have our Barren Castle dip. So that'll be very interesting. I really kind of, for the joy of having a trolley seat, do not want all three objectives there, but it would certainly clean things up very nicely for our runners if all three of the remaining objectives were there.
Oh yeah, as a runner, if I am in either of these two shoes right now, I am hoping, praying, and offering anything up to Bahamut that I can find here that the play I want here is in Baron. As a viewer or a commentator, let's put him in the Giant.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, to be fair, Leviathan at CPU is reasonably fast, and with CPU's stats, those Ice 2s will actually kind of hurt.
Yep. That was kind of, and the giant again doesn't yield anything they need. There's no key item there, and no one's looking for any characters. So, and while Mooney could get some levels there, at this point, he's pretty set for Zeromus. So he's probably fine. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. But yeah, so I wouldn't want things to be in the giant. But one thing I've noticed with the objectives, at least when you're looking for a character, they love to be gated behind that giant. So it'd be pretty interesting to see that last objective gated there as well.
Yeah, while Young and Sid are starting to punch quite a bit, for the sake of getting their Zeromus fights over a little bit faster. Now Young's gonna do plenty well on Zeromus. I've done the solo thing here with that, and Young's pretty good at that. Sid needs a little help sometimes. Also, shout out to Dusty Griff. Thank you for the raid. So I guess the thing is here with Norimaki about to find that Baron key here through this fight. We have Mooney teleporting out of the moon. Norimaki has made up some time. Is it enough?
It's going to depend on where they find that last hidden objective for sure.
So the one thing I don't honestly want here, while it would be incredibly evil at this point, is that Mumuni still has not checked Rydia's mother. Norimaki has not checked that rat tail. The hook was on Rydia's mother. Is it behind a tower here and Earth Crystal there?
Yeah, that is a really excellent question.
We've got pigs on Mumuni's side, prepping for that Golbez fight here. For those who haven't seen it there, Golbez's opening move, the Hold Gas, is an unavoidable paralyze to the party unless you happen to be carrying a ribbon or a crystal ring or an adamant armor, but those don't exist right now.
Nope.
And the game says, well, we can't have too many statuses on our party at the same time, or actually it's a not too many statuses, but more priorities, and basically Paralyze is pretty down far on that list, and having any kind of status like Mini or Pig or anything like that will keep you from getting paralyzed and able to throw up some Moon Veils or Star Veils.
I can't wait to see what's in Baron now.
Now, Norimaki, I was not watching, went back to the top of the moon. Was there a wipe or an exit that wasn't supposed to be there?
I did not catch it either.
Anyways, chat, get your ha-ha-ha's ready here.
You go away for a couple of weeks and there's so many more memes. Ha ha ha! You always have to do it Titus laugh style. I think those are the rules.
Oh no. Might be going a little too far there.
No, there's no such thing as too far. What are you talking about? Poor Rydia. Still gonna die.
I mean, to be fair, this Shadow Dragon might not choose her here.
That is entirely possible, which is filled with a lot of giggles in the case of, especially where Mooni is trying really hard to have her not be alive.
And indeed, the Shadow Dragon has not chosen our young summoner here.
That is dangerous.
And Yang punches himself.
Is Yang punching himself, or is he going to be punching Rydia?
Well, he punched himself once. Might have been a misinput. There goes Rydia. You hate to see it. The Star Veil did last long enough there. However, that spell power, that virus only doing 537, not exactly a large threat to our level party here. Down goes Golbez.
Goodbye.
So apparently, Piggy can affect you in swoon status in the menu. Who knew?
I love it. Okay,
And
let's see who the king is. Please be Leviathan.
it's not our water dragon. It's
No,
Leg.
it's Ruby. It's Leg. Yeah, we already saw the elements earlier, so we know for sure that this is actual Ruby and not elements. In this spot with this party, though, an absolute joke. So that means the Odin spot down in the basement is our last chance to have all 3 objectives here in Baron Castle.
Rubikit might have been offended at being called a joke, as that glare still brought Sid down there to the tune of 3,200 hit points.
Except for Glare. I said mean things, he glared at the party,
And Mooney's showing off some tech there. If you kill off a crumble boss like that with a kamikaze, you'll skip the crumble animation, just get the normal death. There's Porom. There's a far too late white mage.
Just what you totally want. Are we blaming me again? This is not my fault. Excuse you.
I know, right?
I'm just here to be a voice today. I did not roll this seed.
Meanwhile, Norimaki tearing through these elements. Still a dungeon behind.
Still, again, those levels are going to help with that, with the catch-up.
And in the pot we have a rock.
Aww. Key item, yay! Useful key item, nay.
Oh, Mooney does the fly over a mist and says, wait a minute. I'm forgetting
Guys,
something.
As we know, it's just the pink tail, but he doesn't have the hook yet, so that's not going to be helpful.
Oh no, that's the hook right there.
Oh, right, that's the hook. Right,
Yep.
The pink tail was elsewhere. Either way, which he has. So now he's going to be able to maybe go and turn those in. It'll be interesting to see what he does next. I'm kind of surprised he didn't do the Odin spot, but again, depending on what's sitting there, that can be quite a mean spot.
Yep, that is also 10 key items for Mooney. Gonna get the XP caught up here a little faster. But, I mean, as you said, doesn't really need it. Norimaki definitely has the faster Zeroma's fight at this point, but might not matter here.
Yeah, may not matter at all. Very curious to see.
Norimaki is done with the moon and is heading to most likely Baron.
Yeah, I love it that it was. We're looking for Leviathan, and they're like, "Here's Leviathan, the summon." You're like, "Please stop, please."
Oh, that's an alt gauntlet, is what that is. What action does this go from? That's a oh, it's taken from Land of Summons, I bet.
Nice. That is interesting, and again, you need to do it no matter what. So, if you are going to be stuck doing the gauntlet, you want it in a spot that your opponent also must do it, because then you're not losing any time by doing it. And that's the only real downside with the gauntlet in general, is the time it takes. So again, if you're not losing time to it, it's excellent.
Yeah, I mean, the best part about, the best time to fight a gauntlet is when you absolutely have to fight a gauntlet, and both of them actually have to do some. I mean, well, let's put it this way, I'd definitely, like, if I see a gauntlet there, my initial instinct is to reach for that reset button right quick.
Absolutely.
But they can't do it.
Yep, so that's good. Definitely also curious to see what key item is going to be there.
I'm curious to see what's at the end of this hook right now.
Oh yeah. Nothing. They live there now. There's no hook. There's no rat tail. There's just tears. And it'll be interesting to see whether Norimaki goes straight to that Odin spot afterwards or not.
Does not stop to pigify the party, though then again, as seeing the Golbez spot and the magic power that Golbez had in the fight against Mumuni, isn't really gonna need it.
No. Definitely is not.
Okay, Baron and Baron Castle pulls from the old waterway. That makes sense.
Definitely not a huge issue, those.
Although I keep hearing things about this clapper grind. Not feeling it.
Yeah, I'm not even familiar with that grind.
Meanwhile, on Noramaki's side, Golbez leaves the two characters alive who know a nuke spell.
Not sad about that.
Gonna need a little more. Wow, that was actually a pretty spicy virus there. Oh my, that's an Earth Crystal.
Wow, the rabbit holes run deep in this seed.
So the question is, where is Leviathan doing his best Carmen Sandiego impression here?
And where our runners choose to check for this really could make or break this seed for them, because it's getting to the point those levels are not going to matter, and the amount of time that Norimaki spent leveling isn't going to matter if he picks the correct spot and Moomuni does not.
Yeah, Moomuni is going straight for that Earth Crystal check here. Don't blame him, actually. That's 2 boss spots.
2 boss spots and some easy checks because there's another key item there as well. So even if it's not the boss, it could give more progression. So has anyone checked that pan yet?
No, the pan is still unchecked there, so we don't know. The only thing it could really pay out now, given that we're on a boss hunt, is that tower key.
Yeah, exactly, because that would be hilarious and also awful if a levy was sitting in there.
Yeah, we still have our rat tails unchecked. We have our pans unchecked. We're getting an earth crystal here. Question is, Norimaki, after dealing with that alt gauntlets, part of me would be extremely tempted if that earth crystal hadn't popped up to just run a giant. There's 2 bosses there as well. And,
yep.
You know, like we said, with the key items really not being a thing anymore, unless that tower key is necessary, it might be that play. Meanwhile, we do find a sea creature, but not the correct one here.
Nope. We keep finding these sea creatures, and none of them are the ones we're looking for. At least it's a relatively easy boss, especially if we're in the Tower of Zot.
Yep. Norimaki gonna head back in there, going to get the not so great news that there's a lot of monsters sitting on that throne down there.
But at least he's also going to get the good news of knowing that Moomuni has also had to do that.
True.
So most of the boss ones we haven't seen are the ones with no payout. So like Upper Babel, things like that. So we're also missing some key items as well. So pretty soon our runners are going to, as mentioned earlier, are going to have to start doing some of these key item checks that they have but haven't bothered with because there's no bosses around them, simply just to get progression so they can get access to more bosses. Definitely getting some trolls here.
Sid doing a casual 4700 that rune X against the Conjurer there.
Yeah, is that all?
Meanwhile,
oh no, Eddie. And by oh no, I mean oh yes, it's Eddie. Hurrah!
That second Fusaya, however, is spicy.
I would ditch that Rydia in a heartbeat that Mooney hasn't been doing anything with.
I actually completely agree, but no, Mooney is committed to the Rydia anchor here.
Why? Fu is a really great anchor as is. Fu is fairly slow, and with all of those spells?
Moment
Oh,
of truth. Nope, just a pain man. Nothing
oh, the
at
pain.
Zot.
Always the pain man, never the pain. Wait. So thankfully, you just have to survive survive those few hits, and it is an easy fight. One and done. Probably could have just nuked Dark Knight to death in that spot, but when in doubt, it's an easy one, especially in that spot to survive.
I do believe that makes our remaining characters. We haven't found a Cecil, we haven't found an Edge. One of them is at Edge's vanilla spot, the other one is in the Giant.
Yeah, and as Dathis says in the chat, the pain was the fact that Levi was in the giant all along. Where's the lie?
However, that is great news for Normaki here, if Normaki ignores that Earth Crystal. As that's a Legend Sword, and, well, I mean, we could go turn into Coco and see a shop, but honestly, that ship is kind of already sailed.
It's really, there's no point because we've already got fairly good items, and not just do we have, good items, we're looking for bosses. Bosses are what we need, and that's not going to give us boss access.
Not at all. How do you feel right now if you're Mooney and it's an hour 53 in, and you're saying, oh no, I have to spawn the hovercraft right now?
Yeah, I would feel pretty darn awful.
Meanwhile, Normaki does finish off the gauntlet, gets that Earth Crystal. We are tied right back up in objectives here.
Mm-hmm.
Mooney is ahead of Zotchek, but that's about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, there's other things to check for. So yeah, ooh, finally getting that rat tail check. This is what I'm interested to see.
Is it a tower key? I mean, that's about it. We got it all but the Sand Ruby here. Or is it just a high-grade piece of equipment here? It's a glass hat.
Yay! Hurrah! Just what we definitely wanted.
It's going to give us that pink check here as well, and we're getting another Excalibur. No ninja to throw it, no paladin to swing it.
We can totally dual weed those Excaliburs we can't use or to throw. Hurrah!
Mooney is picking up that hovercraft again. Are we going to see the King Queen Evelyn spot here?
That would be interesting.
Well, I mean, if you're in Mooney's position here, you have all but really, barring the tower key, you have three options. You have the King Queen Evelyn spot, or you have the Giant. Normaki, however, is making the Earth Crystal play. So giving that time right back to Mooney here.
Yeah, and again, it's a good play. It's just we happen to know it's the wrong play. Because with those two bosses, it's definitely excellent. But yeah.
Yeah, Future Sight is a little 2020. Oh yeah, that pan check. Both of them can still make that. Nothing doing there, however.
Starting to look like, yeah, it looks like they're gonna have to. And again, we still have the option for another giant.
There was our paladin. So that means it's ninja in the giant today.
Well, hey, it's a good thing we've got all those Excaliburs.
All those Excaliburs and an anchor that Mooney probably still will not get rid of. Well, actually, Baka does make a point there. If Cecil has to go into the oh my, there went Sid.
Oh, welp.
We've got ourselves a paladin here.
That is interesting, and especially with all of those key items and the fact we're still looking for bosses, that could be a very useful slingshot.
Well, yeah, as it is, I mean, even just the element spot With the 10 key items, which Mooney definitely has there, will make it that that's a cool 200,000, which turns into a cool 600,000 for our Cecil here.
Yeah, and especially with how quickly he levels up at the beginning with starting back at level 1. Yeah, definitely very useful.
Normaki immediately bins the Bard and does not tempted by a second Lunarian. Does take a Sorcerer Robe though, which is actually kind of nice. So the question actually is here, if King Queen Evelyn is at if Leviathan is at King Queen Evelyn there, how much effort do you put into making that Cecil leveled?
Yeah,
Oh no,
that
it's
is.
just a Mom Bomb. There goes the reset.
Yeah.
Is taking the one, did make it a tower. I was kind of wondering if Mooney was going to reset back to maybe outside, but it looks like is going to warp his way outside the Tower of Babel, which is actually kind of pretty smart, actually. I never remember warping out of there. So, yeah, you can warp in Upper Babel.
I have never thought to do that. It's one of those, you should know, whenever I can't exit, I just often forget about warp, excluding the, Luca cave, the sealed cave. I always remember I can warp there. But, yeah, I just hate warp so much that, yeah, I usually walk down to the Eblin cave and then use exit.
So Mooney will get that Paladin, will get that Excalibur, most likely online by virtue of the Giant here. Normaki has been kind of echoing Mooney's play here, and is running for that hovercraft now.
Yeah, and again, it's a shame that that's the way it's working. It all makes sense why the checks are going like this. It's a very logical way of doing it, but unfortunately, it just means continually that even with all those extra levels, Norimaki is just always a step behind Mooney. But these seeds always at the end come down to Zeromus. It doesn't matter who gets there first. It matters who defeats Zeromus first. So
Yeah.
until it's not done until it's done, but every step closer.
Mooney did throw a save right in front of that. Probably going to reset out as soon as Normaki sees that Mom Bomb there. Gonna pick up a little bit of time just for the whole. Oh, there's our tower key. So what's the pan required?
That'll be interesting because, with how the checks have been going, I would not even check Sheila 2 at this point. I would hop straight into that tower. Yeah, that's exactly what Mooney's doing because that's such an easy check and there's no experience there. So, on the case that you go up there and it's not Levy, you just go back to your save and continue on.
Yep. And here's the thing. I totally lost my train of thought. Yeah, the only thing Sheila 2 could even possibly be carrying this worthwhile is a crystal sword. Honestly, they don't need that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's right. Yeah, Sheila 2 can't even have progression. The only key item left that's even attainable is Sand Ruby, and we don't need the Sand Ruby.
I mean, if it wasn't 2 hours in, I would bin that Sid for that Paladin all day. Oh my, there he is! Locked behind the tower key. There's our Leviathan.
Oh my god, and where was that pan?
That pan was, I believe, it was in the Pale Dim spot.
Oh my gosh, so Moon was required, and so Darkness Crystal... This is why I use trackers, I never remember where anything is.
Yeah, so here's the rub, kind of, here. While Mooney has found Go Mode, Mooney has 2 casters ready to go, and Yang needs Cecil online here, likely to make this Zeromus fight faster. Is likely going to have to go back. Does enter Go Mode at 2 hours, 1 minute, 26 seconds as Normaki resets out of the Bomb here. Moment of truth for Normaki here. Needs to go check that pan. Needs to
Yep.
stay away from the giant.
Correct, yeah. And the giant just so often trolls in. Oh
And
no!
is going straight for the giant. Oh
Because
no!
yeah,
Turn
and
back! Turn
it's
back!
yeah, and it's such a good play because, like I say, since the objectives have been introduced, it's amazing how many things get locked behind the giant. And there are two bosses there, and with all the levels that Norimaki has, it's such a smart play. However, pen is just such a quick check, and you've got it. And where it was the tower key, and then the tower key is such a quick thing. Oh, you understand why Norimaki's doing it, but you hate to see it.
Oh, absolutely. I'm with the Normaki's levels. Honestly, as soon as Baron didn't check out, like you said, there's two bosses. In this case, it was the place with the most bosses after that Earth Crystal didn't pan out.
Yeah,
Pardon that
absolutely.
pun. I cannot fault this giant play whatsoever.
It's
I mean, it's
such
a
a
great
good
play.
it's such a good play. Like everything about it makes it the correct play, excepting the fact that it's not the correct play. It's likely, depending on the mood I was in, I would potentially make the same play, even, or yeah, it's just I don't like the giant because it's hard, but it's such, the logic is there, and you hate to see it. As River says, speaking of King and Queen Evelyn, though, at least you're getting some easy fights here.
Oh, the easiest 200,000 XP for the party that doesn't need 200,000 XP.
Yeah, I was gonna say this would be beautiful over on Moo Mooney's side, but with those 10 key items and slingshotting that Cecil, I can't wait to see. Oh, 30, is that all? Though 30 levels isn't exactly as many as you want, but you get another, just do a few more of those sirens, and that ain't bad.
Oh yeah, Cecil is not going to take that many sirens to. Oh yeah, and Mooney picked up some coffins while I wasn't looking at the very least. So yeah, that paladin is going to get online very quickly here. 7 more levels here, so 38. A lot of people love taking Cecil up there back when agility agnostic wasn't a thing at roughly 45. I would assume that's probably. I might actually just like go by Rosa rules here, or old school Rosa rules. Get your paladin somewhere around 2,400, 2,500 hit points, and go kill you a moon boss. Meanwhile, Normaki does not want to wait around on these two, is throwing everything plus the kitchen sink at the king here.
I don't know, when I just hit this fight, especially in this spot where the HP values are so high, I think it's honestly just faster to wait because the hard boss flag is not on, so they will, like, it's a free boss fight. They will just die on their own.
Yeah.
So you're likely, honestly, just to haste the boss and just wait for it to play out. I don't even know if hasting the boss works, but it feels like it's a good strat.
It does. Fast is kind of weird in this game, honestly. I never know how to. Yeah. I wouldn't go through that entire stack of sirens he had, because he had about 10 of them there. Cecil, 2,900 hit points before that fight. He's ready, and at 2 hours, 5 minutes, even with that giant rabbit hole of a seed here, I'd be nervous.
Oh, yes.
I'd be all kinds of nervous now.
We're always nervous when doing these until you're done, because even if you think you're doing well, 9 times out of 10, you actually don't feel like you're doing well. Like, we know Moo Mooney's in the lead here, but Moo Mooney probably feels like he's way behind.
Yeah, meanwhile, as Chad is saying, our last dollop of vanilla there, as we saw CPU at CPU.
Dathis, you promised us a hard seed, and while it's decently hard, come on now.
That's a good question. Which boss was left out of the pool tonight? Which boss did we not see here?
Zeromus. I win.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Well, now you got me thinking about it. Bahamut. We didn't see Bahamut.
That is true. We have not seen Bahamut. Also, my guess for Z is Ultros. My guess for Z is always Ultros.
Okay,
It's never Ultros, but it's
it
always.
is never Ultros, and I totally
Ultros.
respect that. Just how I always want Zeromus to be Manimus. But that said, I mean, we're a little bit ahead of ourselves, because don't we have a question to honestly ask right now?
Whose butt are we gonna kick tonight? Unless we have a new question.
No, same question.
Yes! Still hip with the kids. Still hip with the lingo.
404, Zeromus not found?
Yeah. Exactly. Knowing Scala, I swear I've seen a 404 in there.
I mean, I swear I've seen, like, Blue Screen of Death Zeromus, and if there isn't, well, that needs to be.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm pretty sure there is, and I'm pretty sure it's one of the ones that burns my eyes.
I believe that, because it burns everybody's eyes.
Yeah, there's a few of the text ones which I just really hate because like they're clever and amazing, but with the moving text in the background, I find them headache inducing. I'm like, no, please stop. No.
Now, meanwhile here, we do have, here's Leviathan on Normaki's side. Normaki, I did not get a time on when Mumuni entered the Zeromus fight here.
Mm-hmm.
And while Normaki is going to be counting pretty much on it's going to be counting on a wipe, let's kind of be a little honest there. Probably not going to happen much. Okay, well, I don't know if I've actually seen Jafarmus. I believe I should have, but...
I feel like I have, and even if I haven't, I love the fact it's here. Jafar, he's our man. If he can't do it, great!
Aladdin was an awesome movie.
Yeah.
However, in a little bit, he may be wishing he was in that lamp.
Yep.
Mooney getting the great RNG there, tossing that vampire for the initial nerf onto Zeromus, and or Jafarmus in this case, having the nuke come right back on the character he really wanted that nuke to come right back on. Normaki probably about 2 or so minutes behind, does have the crystal in hand, should be darting straight for that fight, but might be just too little too late here.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna see. Yeah, because his party seems to be better set up for this, but that Cecil with the X-Gal is definitely gonna give a bit of a bonus there to Mooney.
Yeah, Yang about 5,000 hit points. The thing about Yang and Cecil there, especially the relative agilities they're at there, they are berserked and they are hitting Jafarmus just, yeah, far more often than... I would not be entirely surprised if another Big Bang did not come out.
Yeah, absolutely. Poor Rydia, taking a well-deserved nap, because she definitely has not had any naps throughout this seed whatsoever.
Even beauty sleep has some limitations.
Obviously not, because she's beautiful.
But yeah, that 11th hour Cecil pickup just doing all the work here for Mumuni.
Oh, yeah.
With a couple nukes coming in, but Paladin swinging that sword for 5,000. You wish he could use 2 of them, but that doesn't really matter too much here, as Jafarmus is likely not long for this world here real soon.
No, Cecil really is very good, and I can understand why folks do leave him behind when you get him last minute. It really kind of depends on what gear you've got for him, but if you've got his specific really good gear, as you can just see, he's just so powerful. Ooh, rocks!
There's rocks. You love to see it as a player. There's punching. There's the flash. There's the crack boom. And now I can finally open this back up with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 11 minutes, and 57 seconds. Moo Mooney has finished.
And with Norimaki at Zeromus, providing nothing goes terribly wrong with looking at those HP levels, I'm not really expecting Norimaki is likely not going to be far behind.
Not at all. It's not often sometimes this seed or in this tournament where you see Zeromus as the clear underdog, but he's the clear underdog here. And we're waiting to see if we're going to get an interview here. Hey. Meanwhile, we'll. Oh, hey, we do have. Okay, does look like Moo Mooney does have to leave for work here after that marathon of the seed. We'll be declining an interview, but still, give Moo Mooney all your GGs at that marathon of a seed there.
Give me the lamp! Why are we flaming me again? Excuse me.
Give me your head! No, the lamp first! I cannot remember exactly how that, it's been a while since I need to go watch that movie now.
So good. What's the current record? I don't know what the current record for vanilla boss is, but this one had 4, which is incredibly high.
Yeah, I know we had a recent, almost completely vanilla Mount Ordeals. I know that both the Mylons were in the vanilla slots at the very least. And even with all those hit points, Fu holding on a little bit. Unfortunately, it does seem to have Yang in the back row. Uh-oh. I hope that nuke is targeted on Zeromus and not on a party member here.
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, I'd rather eat a counter nuke than a
friend nuke, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're much more. Your magic damage is a lot higher than than those reflect nukes.
Did get a phase change on there, so didn't even have to eat the even eat the counter nuke there. It just based on the fact the phase change hits. unfortunately, Jafarma's finding out real quick here that phenomenal cosmic power is not all that it is cracked up to be.
No, it also comes with itty bitty living space. So if Zeromus is Jafar and has itty bitty living space, is it like, does he just have like a tiny pod on the moon?
That's a good question now.
Right? Chat, tell us, where is it that Jafarma sleeps? Maybe Zemus's body was the right size and it's Zeromus's body that's too small.
If that's the question, how do we stuff Zemus into the lamp?
I would start by putting a cookie in there.
I mean, that would get me into the lamp.
Yeah, that's true.
Were they always taunting Iago with crackers even though he hated them?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, Poexel bringing up a very rude point that it's entirely possible that that white dot in the background is Jafarmus's living space and is actual size.
That does qualify as itty bitty.
Yep. It is very tiny. Yeah, you can see his finger there. It's like, oh gosh, that's awful. Why would you do that?
Fu taking a well-deserved nap himself there, but everybody else just has way too many hit points for Jafarmus really to do anything about here. Although I am impressed that Normaki is going straight for the head here. Reflex strats, what are those? Rita's just gonna nuke you in your face.
You know what? Reflect strats are great and all, but when you know you've got this, especially when those rocks are falling, you ain't got time for reflex. You want a nuke. You just want a nuke right in the face. And with that, we have the flash boom bang, and Norimaki has finished with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 19 minutes, and 28 seconds. And I did hear the Discord ping, so am I correct in thinking that Norimaki has joined us?
You might be correct on that front.
Might be correct. Congratulations. You did a really great job on that, dude.
Yeah, thanks. I I made some mistakes, and the face palming was real on my end, especially when I decided to opt out of the moon the second I got the Baron key. I was like, there's 2 more places I need to check because this boss could still be in a couple of other places.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like, we were really kind of applauding your play with the going to the giant for checks, like, and in terms of like logic, it was such a good play, but unfortunately we had already seen Moo Mooney attempt that, or not, sorry, had already seen the Moo Mooney get that tower key and find Leviathan. So we were just like, no, it's such a good logical play. But how did you feel when it turned out to be not what you were looking for?
I mean, you have to roll the dice. This is a very familiar kind of scenario for me. In my community, we do a lot of these races amongst our own, and my seeds tend to do this. I was kind of questioning if maybe I didn't roll this seed after a while, because a good old-fashioned monster hunt is pretty common whenever I roll these. So, yeah, unfortunately, I mean, you make that call, you hope it's there, and I had to get through that first fight, which King and Queen of Eblon is like no big deal, but really, CPU and vanilla, come on. And all you can do is reset and go try elsewhere. That's really all you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially because that showed us our 4th vanilla boss, and we were just like, what?
Yeah, Fred, gonna have some words.
One question I did want to ask myself there is, you committed to a grind and you committed hard to it there. What was the reasoning behind taking all 30 of those sirens and saying, hey, let's just get that Rydia nuke right now?
Yeah, it's kind of a typical play that I do when I run these. If I've got the ability to grind and I'm pretty confident with the party that I've got, I'm just going to commit to that party. And that's just it's a standard way of what I tend to do with all of these seeds. It may not be the most optimal, but it's what I'm comfortable with. I've only been doing these for like 2 months, so I haven't learned everything that I need to know to be kind of a top tier player at this. But I'm very comfortable with what I had there, and I just said, yeah, let's just go ahead and face roll everything. Hopefully, we find what we're looking for along the way.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it was not a bad play, and like Natara already glossed over, had you went to check that pan, and both of you faded that pan for forever there, had you checked that pan instead of going to the giant, you both probably would have been completely neck and neck going into the Zeroma's fight there. But to be fair, like she said, you can't fault it. 2 bosses there to maybe tower key here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that pan, actually, when I got it, it immediately entered my mind. I was like, maybe Sheila 2 was going to be a thing. And I was like, oh, let's finish what's going on here. And then I started going further and further down the rabbit hole because I kept getting item after item after item. As soon as I was done with Giant, the next thought that kind of crossed my mind was, should I take the hook and go check Rat Tail for tower key? And then, I got lucky, decided to go elsewhere and got that tower key that I needed. And was able to finish the seed. But I'll be honest, I thought at about the 140 mark, I was keeping an eye on the SRL chat, expecting a dot done from Mooney.
Yeah, it's so easy to feel behind in doing any of these races, and it just hurts it a little bit more when you realize you really are behind. But no, you definitely did really well in that. But just kind of the nature of the locations of everything in these seeds. So GG on that. You did, again, you still finished very close together. So great job.
Yeah, 8-minute gap. I can attribute the exiting out of Moon prematurely potentially as a time waste because I went right back in, realizing I was a dummy, and then obviously the Giant of Babel checks. So really kind of made the difference there. But I was just following my instinct, and this time it didn't work out.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really all you can do. Well, congratulations on that, and look forward to your next race.
All right. Well, thanks for hosting this race, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much. So anything you want to say, Night Dew, in order to sign us off here? I'll take that as a no.
Just last minute audio. That was weird right there. Say that question again. I missed the last about 30 seconds.
Yeah, you're like, thanks, Discord. I was just like, anything else you want to say before we sign off here?
No, just a round of thanks to both the runners, my co-commentator Natara, Dathis and Fries for doing all the behind the scenes here, RPG Limit Break for hosting this whole event, or helping us host this whole event. Just a big thanks and shout out to everybody here and behind the scenes.
Absolutely, yeah. We could not put together all of these without the help of all of our volunteers. It's always great to have our runners who are participating, but for every match that's restreamed, that is a set of volunteers who is taking time out of their lives to really help and push this. So I definitely want to say thanks to all of them for helping with that. And we have been informed by one said volunteer, our lovely restreamer Dathis, that we're going to be raiding Free Enterprise. So everyone, cheer on our set of racers who have already been going for about an hour on that channel. We'll let the commentary team catch you up. Good luck, have fun, and enjoy your hopefully not so vanilla next seed.
But what if we want more vanilla?
Nope. Banned.
All right. Good night, everybody. We'll see you over, hopefully, with another great race soon.
Good night.